Okay, good afternoon, students. I hope you can hear me. Today we're going to have a lecture brief, which is going to last hopefully about 15 minutes. And I'd like to share my presentation. So the lecture brief is going to be on the course Technology of Service in Restaurants and Hospitality. And I am the lecturer, Tolijan Sektaevich Baymukhanov. So today we're going to cover the lecture as usually. The outline is going to be the same. So at the beginning, we're going to have a short overview. Today is going to be even shorter than usual. Then we're going to start a new lecture, week 4. The topic is technological algorithm of services. And at the end of the lecture, I'm going to give you an assignment. So during the previous lectures, we have covered the topic, the term, and the other things that are related to the technology. We mentioned that technology is the science of craft. It is the sum of techniques, skills, methods, and processes used in the production of goods and services. And technology of service is the same thing, but which is applied to production of services rather than production of tangible goods. Then during the lecture, we mentioned that the service is a transaction which includes no physical goods. And basically in the hospitality, we have a little bit different story. Yeah, we have like tangible part, which includes different facilities, and we have intangible services that kind of cover it. And also we mentioned that service consists of front stage and backstage, and this is something unique here. Also, we mentioned that services can have different scenarios. So every service, every client is unique. That is why we have to be prepared for different occasions, different customers, different segments, and etc. So basically, when we talk about services, customer hire to get a job done. So a customer has a problem, and we should provide a solution. Also, during the last lecture, we covered the types of services. We talked that we have table service, assisted service, self-service, single point service, and all the unique services that are called special services. Also mentioned that a hotel has different services. They have restaurant, lounge, coffee shop, room service, like pool, barbecue, banquet service, bar, outside catering, etc. So room service basically refers to the main service, which is accommodation. And now we are going to start a new lecture, week 4, technological algorithm of service. So basically, what is algorithm? Algorithm is a term which is used mostly in the field of IT, technologies, and etc. But it also can be applied in services. So basically, the definition of algorithm is, algorithm is a procedure or formula for solving a problem based on conducting a sequence of specific actions. Here I underlined the key words. So this is a procedure. It has different sequences. Yeah, it solves a problem. Usually when we talk about algorithm, we draw a model, which is here. Yeah, we have a problem, then we have a solution, and in between we have algorithm. So how this solution is basically done. Yeah, what procedures it has passed in order to make the job done, as we said before, in services. The customer hire us to get the job done. So basically, the problem is why they hire us, and the solution is the job done. And algorithm is how it's done. When it comes to the technological algorithm of a service, here I have a case of a hotel. We have different jobs, different things that are done, procedures basically, and there are reservation, arrival, check-in, and accommodation. Then we have staying, check-out, and departure. We should mention that every single of these procedures usually have their own divided sequences, which include different elements, and they are all interconnected. So in order to provide a good quality service, we should cover it all and should have an understanding of all these different procedures and sequences are part of one single good, which is basically a package. We know that from the marketing. The other thing we should mention, is the service cycle and its elements. Basically, service cycle describes the complete end-to-end experience that a customer has in relation to a service organization. Basically here, I highlighted word complete end-to-end experience because, as we know from logistics, all the products usually have like beginning and the end. When it comes to services, it is more complicated because, for example, in services, information flow is very important, and usual information flow starts from the end of basically the production logistics. That is why when we talk about services, we usually talk about end-to-end experience, and it is quite difficult to understand where is the end and where is the beginning. Sometimes we say, for example, in the case of restaurant, that beginning is when we purchase different ingredients. And in the other case, we can talk, for example, that service starts when the customer enters the restaurant and orders. So basically, we can start from either sides. We can start from the moment when we purchase ingredients in the market, or we can start when the customer makes an order. The other thing we should mention is that the service cycle includes elements, and usually those elements are called points of contact or the touch points. So basically, touch point is when the customer experiences something. It can be pleasant, it can be unpleasant. During those touch points, the customer experiences something, and then after that experience, there is a time where customer thinks about something. So this is basically a thought point. Then at the end of all the services, usually the customer has experience, and it should be like joyful, but sometimes it can be unpleasant too. From the marketing and from the service design, we also can mention that we have like the high and the end point of every service. They are usually very important because the high point, when the customer experiences something like extraordinary, and the moment how the service ended is usually very important. So for example, if the customer has a great experience in your restaurant or hotel, but at the end you spoil something by providing a wrong receipt, and the wrong receipt can ruin all the experience and all the like general like idea and general thing that the customer takes away. So here's an example of a service cycle. Before we went through the procedures of the rest of the hotel, basically the technological algorithm of the hotel. And now I'd like to show you basically the service cycle of a restaurant. So here we have a line, a red line, which divides like backstage and the front stage, of the restaurant. This is basically the term, the theory that tells that all the services are like a stage performance, like a theater, the backstage and the front stage. Here we can start from any side, but usually we have the purchasing is the beginning when we purchase different goods, different products from the market, ingredients basically. Then we store those ingredients, then we issue them, like take from the storage and send it to the kitchen where we have pre-cooks, cooks, chefs, sous chefs, and etc. And we have the cooking and preparation when we cook and prepare our dishes, beverages, and etc. Then we go to the front stage, and we have the preparing for service. Then we take this service and send it to the person serving. Usually in the restaurants we have 3 people who do that. We have the waiter, we have the food runner, we have the busser, and the others who are included to that. Then we have consuming, when the customer consumes that. Then we have cleaning after consumption, and then again purchasing. This is usually the service cycle. Of course, this service cycle does not include and take into account like ordering, information flow, and etc. But still, this is an example, and later on we're going to cover different examples, service cycles that, for example, include information flow, money flow, and the others. But right now, this is the example, and this is what I want you to remember. The other thing we mentioned is the service cycle, like sequence of service, which was mentioned before. Yeah, so sequence of service is referred to as the order in which services are provided to guests from the time guest enters the hotel or restaurant to the time he or she leaves the hotel or restaurant. Yeah. So basically this is how it sounds. Yeah, the key word here is the order. Yeah, usually we should remember that we should not break the order. Yeah. For example, in the case of restaurant, if someone orders appetizer, main course, and dessert, yeah, we should provide it in this sequence. Yeah, we can't, for example, bring first or serve first dessert and then main course and only after that appetizer, because appetizer is something that is consumed at the beginning. It makes our mouth full of saliva, yeah, which helps us to consume, digest in the future, yeah, the meal, which can be heavy. That is why the sequence should be done in the order. Here I have the example of the sequence of service, yeah, which here has 16 different like sections, yeah, elements, procedures maybe. And here they are called like welcome guest, seat guest, present menu, beverage order, menu order, serve bread and butter, serve appetizer, clear appetizer, serve salad, clear salad, serve entry, clear entry, offer dessert menu, serve after dinner beverages, clear dessert, and present check. These are the sequences that are usually like common in the case of restaurant. Yeah. So let's talk about several. Yeah. For example, a present menu. Yeah. Usually when we present a menu, yeah, which is a larger one, includes different foods and beverages. Yeah. Usually a high premium and like fine restaurant would not provide or offer, for example, to order dessert at the beginning. Yeah, usually the first thing we offer is the like beverage, yeah, which comes at the beginning. Water for free, different wine or maybe uh, beer is usually what is ordered at the beginning. So we bring that first while we are serving those beverages. The customer has some time to think and to make his decision what he or she wants to eat. Then they order that. After that, we serve bread and butter. Usually, yeah, bread and butter, I mean, in the fine restaurant are free. Then we serve appetizer because it comes first. Then we clear appetizer. Then we serve salads. Yeah, then we clear them. Then we serve the main course and side course. Yeah, then again, we clear that. Then we offer dessert. Yeah, something that comes after. Usually here, when we have the main course and the dessert, usually we clear the whole table. So tables should be as clean as possible. So basically, as if there was no customer and they had nothing to eat. Then we serve basically the dessert. Yeah, serve dinner beverages. Usually they can be like tea, coffee. Yeah, if it is dinner time, usually it's not, but still, yeah, this is what we usually provide. In the Western countries, for example, in Spain and in Southern especially, they bring hot drinks only with desserts. Yeah, and usually they do not prefer them with the main course. Yeah, so that should be remembered. But these are the details. Yeah, but the sequence look like this. The other thing we should cover is the flow chart. Yeah, when we have different sequences, yeah, just knowing them is not enough. Yeah, we should be prepared for all the elements and all the procedures done according to the order, yeah, as we said before. And we have a great tool in order to make that in a proper way, so we're not going to get confused or forget something. And this tool is called flowchart. So flowchart is a type of diagram that represents a workflow or process. So a flowchart can also be defined as a diagrammatic representation of an algorithm. So basically it is a step-by-step approach to solving a task. Yeah. So here we have a welcome guest, sequence. And later I would like to show you how this sequence can be shown, in the flowchart representation. But before that, we should cover all the symbols that are used in the flowchart. These symbols are quite broad. Yeah, they can be used in the technology of services, in technology of production, or in the IT technologies, and etc. So here we have basic symbols that are used broadly everywhere, basically. So here we have an oval, symbol, which represents the start and the end. So basically, it is where we start and where we end every single sequence. Then we have arrow. So arrow is a line which shows us the relationship between representative shapes. Then we have the parallelogram, which represents input and output. So basically what comes in the algorithm, and what comes out of the algorithm. Rectangle represents the process. So all the processes should be shown as a rectangle. So cooking can be a rectangle. Basically input can be something like an order. So ordering is an output, and the food is order is an input, and the food is an output. Then we have diamond. So diamond is where we have to make a decision. In the case of flowchart, it is usually yes or no, true or false. So we usually have only two options. If we have more options to cover, we can have several diamonds. So it can help us to solve a difficult problem. But usually this is how we show that. And also flowchart is used, for example, when we want to automate, for example, a service, a production, or any process. And as I said before, now I would like to cover the sequence of welcoming guests. And in the flow chart, it would look like this. So here we have welcoming guest. So as we can see, it is shown in the shape of oval. Then we have an input. Find out if the guest has a reservation or no. So basically here the guest tells us yes or no. But this is what we ask. Then we have the tape. This one, this shape. This is usually in the programming shows an additional information. That is not part of the algorithm, but which helps you to remember something. So basically, if the customer has a reservation, it's easy, because we already know where to send our guest and where the guest is going to sit and be, and who basically is going to serve him or her. And if, of course, if the guest is not satisfied, this is another tip. We should try to show and offer the other table. And of course, if the guest has no reservation, so we should ask for preferences. Again, here we're going to have an input of the guest. So guest is going to provide us another information. And according to that, we have a process. Basically a process of escorting a guest to table. Usually we can see that this shape is a little bit different than the process, this one, because this is something that is common and is used all the time. Yeah, so we know how to do that. We do that several times. That is why it's going to be way easier for us to accomplish. And of course, then when we escort to the table and guests are seated, we can say that this like algorithm, this flowchart ends. So we can say that this sequence, yeah, comes to an end. And this is basically it. Yeah, this is what we should have covered in the lecture brief. Yeah, as you remember during the lecture, we have covered several other examples and several other terms. Yeah, but for a brief lecture, this is it. So right now it is a good time for a Q&A. Yeah, usually you ask me questions, but right now we have like a monologue, yeah, a lecture without students. That is why I would like to go directly to the assignment. So the assignment is the same. Yeah, we have two assignments. The first one is to choose a service and break it into as many sequences of specific actions as possible. So basically you can choose any service, yeah, and break it into sequences from the beginning. Yeah, as we showed in the case of restaurant, we have welcome guest, and at the end we have present check, and in between we have like 15, yeah, basically 14, yeah, different sequences, different actions that should be covered. So this is the first like task, the first assignment. Here's the note. Try to do it as if it is written not for a human being but for a robot. Yeah. Why we do that? Because sometimes, I mean, for us as professionals, it's going to be way easier to remember things, and we think that some actions are like simple and they're common, and it does not require even writing. But in the case of technology, in the case of algorithm, in the case of a workflow, there is no unimportant tasks. So everything should be covered. And the second assignment is to choose one sequence. So after you write all the sequences of a service you choose, yeah, just try to choose one and describe it, yeah, write it as a text and try to draw it as shown in the example, welcome guest. So like this. Yeah, I hope you're going to use the flowchart symbols, basically these shapes, arrows. Yeah, so in the future, it is going to help you. And if you make it part of your habit, yeah, in the future, it's going to be easier for you to conduct. And the other thing I would like to mention is that all these things are going to be very important, especially right now and in the future. For example, if you want to build a franchise or you want to automation, yeah, you want to have a mobile app and etc. This is going to be extremely helpful for you. So you're going to make all the works like standardized, and also as a consequence, you're going to have a quality product. So basically that's it, what we were supposed to cover today. I hope you enjoyed this lecture and see you next week. Bye.